The Durian Heat, bringing big ideas and critical opinions in Southeast Asia.
Hi, this is Arlene.
Hi, this is Gowri.
And of course, you are with us at our Durian Heat.
That's right.
And today we are going to talk about, guess what, Gowri?
Oh God. I think this needs no guessing. It's everywhere, all over the place, all over KL, Penang, Indonesia, and Singapore, and we're talking about
Haze.
That's true. And of course, the haze has been in the spotlight for quite some time now, and it has been every year quite consistently. And this year we are experiencing one of the worst haze situation in Malaysia, where the API has gone up to almost 190 in most places.
And 300 in Sumatra alone.
Mhm.
That's crazy. And just a bit of a background on what the hell is API.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It's actually a reading or PSI in this case. It's called the Pollutant Standards Index, a type of air quality index, can be easily understood by laymen like us, of course. And the PSI reading consists of the combination of the six air pollutants. Sulfur dioxide, particulate matter, fine particulate matter, nitrogen dioxide, carbon monoxide, and ozone. And when the API reading is between 0 and 50, it's good. But when it reaches 100 to 200, it's classified as unhealthy. And if it goes beyond that, then of course, in this case, it's very hazardous and it's not safe for you to even step up from your house.
That's right. And just to go through some of the places in Malaysia, of course, Sumatra is having one of the worst haze situation, and apart from that, there's been many times that we've been trying to get rid of these forest fires and open burning, but it has not been successful. And a lot of hotels in KL actually, which has rooftop swimming, shows that there are still people who go for swimming on the rooftop despite the haze surrounding them.
Maybe he was wearing a mask. You never know.
Well, no, they were not wearing a mask in the photos. And they were just swimming as though it's some mountaintop with the fog around them. It's so majestic. And of course, even Putrajaya itself has been enveloped by the haze. In Singapore, there were also pictures of the building with the train on top.
Wow.
That's also been engulfed by the haze. As well as Singapore's National Stadium. And of course, recently there's also been a report about the Grand Prix commencing and how the haze is quite a worrying factor. And
they could postpone the whole thing.
Exactly. And that is not good, because it's one of the biggest attractions that we have, both in Malaysia and Singapore, and especially Singapore, because you can actually view the race from the sky bar.
Wow.
Which is high up above, and many people, especially me, that's how I know about this, look forward to that event every year, especially people who are big fan of F1 and racing. And if they start getting concerns about the race's safety and whatnot, then it could be quite a bad impact on the economy of both Singapore and Malaysia.
Singapore is just one dot in the large Southeast Asia, so whatever that is happening in Sumatra will affect Singapore greater than in Malaysia. I mean, Grand Prix is just one thing, but as a whole, the tourism is definitely in a gloomy mood right now in Singapore. I mean, as a tourist, you want to go out, you want to experience the cultural heritage that Singapore can offer, but now you can't do that. So you just have to stay at your house and wear that that very annoying face mask. But even that, the surgical face mask, it won't actually protect you from the haze particles.
That's right. Actually, that's the difference as well between the surgical mask and the actual mask for the haze, which is I think called the N95. So the surgical mask doesn't actually protect you, because it's just to protect you from splashes of water or blood, which is why the doctors wear them. But it's the N95 that actually has a filter that is probably not 100% effective, but it still filters most of the dust particles before you actually inhale the air.
Can you imagine wearing that every day to work?
Oh my God.
And I mean, on a smaller scale, even Malaysian Football Association has postponed the Malaysia Cup. In case you don't know, there's such thing as Malaysia Cup, Gowri.
Yes, I do, but I didn't know that they postponed it actually.
Yeah, they did.
Because of the haze. I mean, I can imagine that it must be really tough when we talk about football. It involves lots and lots of running, and you need to have a good source of fresh air as well. Because otherwise, it's very easy to run out of breath and start getting suffocated or even looking for fresh air, because it involves that much of stamina, and then your heart pumps really fast. It needs some clean air, and I guess that's why they decided to postpone the Malaysia Cup.
Yeah. And just to inform you guys on how Malaysia and Singapore were being affected by the Sumatra forest fire, partly is also because of the wind. The wind is flowing flowing towards Malaysia and Singapore, and forcing all the dust and forest fires and the smoke to come to Malaysia. So that's one of the reason. And we are not sure how long this will last, but definitely for these few weeks, we just have to stay indoor as much as possible.
And also, of course, try to keep yourself hydrated as much as you can. And apparently we're not advised to drink coffee because coffee dehydrates you. And
Thank
yes,
you, Gowri. I already finished
I can see the look
my
of shock
cup
in
of
your
coffee.
Black coffee some more. But yeah, maybe we can also cut down on our coffee for the next couple of weeks until the haze subsides, and try to increase the intake of water as well as fruits, anything that has water in it and can hydrate your body, because it's very important to keep yourself hydrated during these times.
And it's also important to be in the know about haze. There's a lot of clips like we played earlier in our show, clips about haze, which is being made very well by this one NGO in Singapore. But of course, you can always get the updated air quality index from various sources. From Malaysia will be the spims.doe.gov.my. It shows in real time on what is happening right now in terms of the burning activities as well as the smoke activity, the PSI reading of each areas in Malaysia. And in Singapore, they also have their own website, a government website that solely focusing on haze. It's called haze.gov.sg. And globally, you can check the global air quality index with aqicn.org.
And just to give a little update on Malaysia as well, the level of API so far, places in Banting in Selangor is actually up to 176.
Wow.
And that is as of 10 a.m. today. And we know that according to the API, 176, which is close to 200, is already unhealthy, and it already has quite a dangerous amounts of chemicals in the air. And apart from that, we have places in Port Klang, which is up to 165, and Kuala Selangor has 144, and Petaling Jaya, where we are right now, is 143. Well, still not so bad, but we are getting there. It's almost 150. In Sarawak, it's still not so bad. It's between 100 and 110. Whereas in Seremban, actually, it's gone up to 168 as well. In Melaka, 143. And other places like in Penang, it's about 112, and Seberang Jaya is 107. And of course, as long as, like you mentioned, 0 to 50 is fine, and 51 to 100 is still moderate, but once it's beyond 100, it's already unhealthy. So it doesn't matter whether it's 150 or 160 or 180, I think it's already at levels that we should start worrying about.
That's true. And our neighbors, not our sisters in Sabah and Sarawak, are also being hit hard of the haze, and because of that, I think it is important that the government perhaps declares some form of state of emergency, although they haven't done yet, right?
They haven't actually. To our surprise, there has been news that some schools are being closed, but overall, there hasn't been much said by the government about the concerns of the haze in the country.
Even in even in Indonesia, Joko Widodo haven't even declared the state of Sumatra, calling it for a national emergency, because the situation in Sumatra is much more worse than in Singapore and Malaysia.
And there's actually been a tweet last night, according to Malay Mail, that our Education Minister, Datuk Seri Mazhir Khalid, has actually called for all the schools in Selangor, Wilayah Persekutuan, Putrajaya, Negeri Sembilan, and Melaka to be closed. But I think so far no action has been taken about that yet because of the concerning API readings that he came out to tweet about it. But we don't know if it's actually going to happen by today, if they're going to start closing down the schools. I mean, it's even worse for the children because they don't know what's going on, and they might just think that, oh, it's haze, it's just some thick fog or something, and they might not even take the precautions seriously.
I mean, the biggest cause of haze is definitely our own health. For example, you will suffer from sore throat, eyes, irritation, trouble breathing, and of course constant coughing. I'm still okay personally because I've been staying indoor as much as I can.
Right.
But I can understand those who have to work outdoors all the time. I think they are the ones that will be suffering the most when it comes to the situation of haze.
I think so. I mean, imagine all the construction workers, all the people working at the construction sites for the LRT, the MRT, where they are constantly outdoor, and we don't even know if they're actually wearing the mask for protection. And well,
we should just have insurance just for haze.
that's true. I mean, it's getting to a very worrying level, and like you mentioned, there's a lot of different disease that we could contract, and one of it is, of course, breathing problems, respiratory diseases and all. And I think the government should definitely come forward and either have 1 or 2 days of public holiday or whatever it is,
Did you mention public holiday? I think Malaysian will be the first say like, oh,
I think we really need one right now because, well, we do have Malaysia Day tomorrow, but even that, that's the thing. Even if there's a holiday, we don't know if people are actually going to stay at home or go out shopping because Malaysian loves to go shopping malls, right? But I do think that we do need some sort of a restriction, even for people to go out and to be exposed to the air.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll take one short break. When we return, we will discuss more on why this is happening in the first place and how can we address the situation of haze in Southeast Asia.
The Durian Heat, bringing big ideas and critical opinions in Southeast Asia.
Hey, this is Arlene.
Hi, this is Gowri.
And of course, you're still with us at the Durian Heat. And of course, talking about haze, right, Gowri?
Mm-hmm.
The second question, the first question is what is happening? The second question, why this is happening in the first place?
So why is this happening?
Well, as we all know that the forest fires and burnings in Sumatra has caused a huge development of haze in Malaysia and Singapore and of course parts of Indonesia. But that's just one point of the story, one part of the story. The second part of the story is happening so frequently that it has become, I would say, if it's not every 3 months, at least every year, at least one time that you will have the haze crisis in Southeast Asia.
Right, that's true. It's something that we deal with every year as well because of the forest fires. the burning that's been happening in Sumatra. That I think apart from us complaining every year, there hasn't been much of a solid or a tangible solution to address this problem. And of course, Indonesia has also come forward to apologize, but apologizing can only do so much. It has to go beyond that and see how these three countries can work together.
And of course, one of the theory on why this is happening in the first place is because of the forest fires by small farmers and also multinational companies that are owned by companies in Malaysia and Singapore. I'm talking about the palm oil industry, palm oil plantation. In order for them to clear the land, they would burn down forests and burn down farms so that they are able to expand the plantation itself. But that's just one theory of it. A second theory would definitely be like just for small time farmers, trying to clear the land to make way for the next the next harvesting and of course the next planting of food.
Right, and this also goes back to I guess it's a catch as well, because it's the Malaysians who are complaining, but at the same time they don't realize what exactly is actually causing this haze. But whatever it is, I think that the why do I keep saying Singapore? The Indonesian government, I think, should have a stricter rules or measures when it comes to open burning, because it's something that is practiced quite widely over there. And I think it's probably also because of awareness that they don't know what exactly, for them it could just be, I'm burning this because I'm supposed to, but they don't realize the long-term effect it could have on two other countries that could, suffer because of their actions.
I mean, us suffering is one thing, but we also have to realize that forest contains flora and fauna, and one of the cause of this burning is the endangered animals such as orangutan and tapirs. They will also be victims of the forest fires burning.
Right, of course. And as it is, we already have a lot of problems with animals going extinct, and open burning, of course, contributes to that as well, in terms of the animals losing their habitat. Like you mentioned, with all these different floras and faunas, they need a medium to survive, and of course the habitat is very, very important. So it doesn't only affect us, it also affects the entire environment, the entire ecosystem, actually.
And talking about the law, I have to applaud Singapore because they already passed the Transboundary Haze Pollution Act, which in a sense companies, especially Singaporean companies that have contributed to this situation of haze, would be able to be punished under the act, which is a great thing. Then you have a better check and balance. And on the other hand, I think Indonesia is also looking at creating an act just for that, for companies that are causing tragic pollution and haze, especially on haze, although the act hasn't been passed into a law yet.
Right. And Malaysia, on the other hand, is expected to sign a memorandum of understanding with Indonesia, which we did report about, in terms of addressing the transboundary haze problem, according to our Minister of Natural Resources and Environment, Datuk Seri Wan Junaidi. And he said that he would meet his Indonesian counterpart on September 18. So we'll have to wait for him to fly there first and discuss about things. They will be signing, of course, a memorandum of understanding, and this will also require Indonesia, he said, to comply with their side of the bargain for what he's going to propose. And this MOU will be in force for 5 years, for the upcoming 5 years.
Not bad. And for ASEAN, people will be asking, what have ASEAN done, as an organization? Actually, ASEAN has done quite some. I would say it's applaudable, but they could have done something more.
Right.
But I would say at this juncture, they have done as far as signing the agreement, finally Indonesia step in together with other 9 countries in Southeast Asia to sign the ASEAN Agreement on Transboundary Haze Pollution. I think Indonesia definitely has been pressured by a lot of countries in Southeast Asia to step up the game and take ASEAN seriously. And this ASEAN Agreement on Transboundary Haze Pollution is really good in a way that it really strengthens the cooperation between all ASEAN countries to ensure that the haze crisis can be addressed effectively together.
I think that's why it's tricky when it comes to haze. I mean, it's not something as simple like throwing away trash or even like the South China Sea issue. It's just something that you cannot control. It goes with the wind, and if it affects you, it affects you. And in order to battle the haze, of course, we need the countries to come together to sign these memorandums of understanding, to come up with a pact that they can sign. But I think at the end of it, it goes down to the whole awareness level on the effects of open burning and what kind of effect it has on the environment. Because this, of course, for now, it's only Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore. But if this goes on, the whole region could be affected by the haze, and there's nothing that we can do to stop it, because you cannot like build a wall or anything and shield your country from the haze. It doesn't work that way. So it's really important that everyone is aware on the effects of burning, and especially the long-term effects of it.
What you are saying is definitely something that ASEAN hasn't catch up with, which is the awareness about haze. I think Singapore has done quite a tremendous work in trying to educate its citizens. I found a lot of materials about haze from Singapore. A lot of it coming not just from the government, also from the citizens, but very few coming from Malaysia and Indonesia, which I think the whole of Southeast Asia need to step up the game in terms of creating awareness on the danger of inhaling air that is polluted, and of course trying to address the root cause of haze. In this case, I'm interested to see at this website called Center for International Forestry Research. Their YouTube channel is really good. They give quite an interesting overview on this thing called dry forest in a tropical forest. So burning is one thing, but it will spread very quickly because of the dry forests in tropical forests, which means that it doesn't look like it's dry, but actually the leaves and branches and all can catch up fire quite easily. That's why you have such a huge area in Sumatra that is I would say a fire burning hotspot. Right. In fact, just recently, I think it was yesterday that the news coming out from Indonesia that 1,000 hotspots were detected in the satellite image.
That's right. And in Malaysia as well, we have over 50 hotspots, so it's not surprising if there are almost 1,000 in Indonesia. And I totally agree with you over there when it comes to the forest. And we may not be aware of what's the condition of the forest and how it could actually be very conducive to burning, and it could spread very easily, and that is something that needs to be highlighted as well. And speaking of that, perhaps if the government is not doing anything, we could also start something by ourselves to increase the awareness, like what some of the Singapore NGOs have done in terms of awareness and educating the public about the haze and the effects of it and what we can do about it.
I agree with you. I think education from the grassroots is much more effective than just waiting from the top down to spoon feed us, on information. So I think even as media is important, it is our role for us to educate citizens about, what is haze and how can we ensure that our health is being protected. In a situation like this. So anyway, we'll take another one short break. When we return, we will discuss further on haze in Southeast Asia.
The Durian Heat, bringing big ideas and critical opinions in Southeast Asia.
Hey, welcome back. This is Arlene.
Hi, this is Gowri.
So, Gowri, What are the things that we can do to reduce haze?
In Malaysia? Or where?
Yeah, in Malaysia.
Right. So I think there's a few things that we can do. One of it, which Malaysia will be doing today, is the cloud seeding. Actually, the Malaysia's meteorological department have decided that they will start on the seeding operations today to bring relief to Klang Valley and also to Kuching. And this is because the API, as we mentioned earlier, has not been getting better, and it has increased up to 193. And before it goes beyond 200, they want to actually do something about it, because after that it'll be much difficult to battle the haze. But the concern here is that each cloud seeding would actually cost about 30,000 ringgit.
I'm sure we have a lot of donation money to do that, right?
I'm sure we have a lot of money. That's right. And of the cloud conditions is another factor as well. We have to see if there are clouds available in the sky. And according to, I guess they have.
Is that the reason why this rainy season? Like yesterday?
I guess they have to also examine the clouds and see which is the favorable one for the cloud seeding. And they are looking at 32 areas nationwide, which has unhealthy API readings. And of course, the worst one is Kuala Lumpur and Port Klang at the moment, as well as Banting, which has 180. And also we have our Natural Resource and Environmental Minister again, who said that 2 more hotspots have been detected in Sarawak, 3 more in Sumatra, and 407 in Kalimantan. And I think this is why they are starting to panic, which is a good thing. And they are going to do the cloud seeding by today to make sure that it doesn't get any worse. And there's also another solution where we can probably, I guess, just boycott the palm oil products. But I guess you can explain more about that.
Yeah, there's this one initiative that I thought is really interesting. Is actually by WWF Singapore. They call it "We Breathe What We Buy," and I think it's true. You know, you want to have clean air. You don't support companies or corporations that are actually the root cause of what we are having right now in terms of the haze crisis.
Right.
And unfortunately, like it or not, but a lot of the companies that are the ones, having farmers burning all these lands are companies from Malaysia and Singapore.
Right.
And I think it's important that we reduce usage of palm oil products, but I would say that it's totally impossible. You know why? Probably every single thing that you consume on a daily basis contains palm oil.
Especially when you get into the bathroom and you want to take a shower, and then you have your soap, you have your cream, and most of them do contain palm oil. So it can be very, very difficult to totally do away with it.
Even your lipstick.
Exactly.
And chocolates and pizza and toothpaste. Almost everything contains palm oil.
So it might be difficult to boycott the whole thing, but like you said, if we can carefully pick and choose and also support products that are more
that thing called sustainable,
right?
Certified sustainable palm oil, and it is something that Europe is driving it. I think ASEAN can use it to change the way it plants its palm oil trees.
Exactly, change the approach of also educating the consumers in using certified sustainable products instead of just the ones controlled by this greedy company.
Is that how you brand them, greedy?
Yes, that's how I brand them.
Well, they have a don't care attitude, but I think if we care as citizens, we definitely can create a more sustainable way of planting palm oil. I mean, unfortunately, or in this case, fortunately, Malaysia and Indonesia combined, we supply 85% of the palm oil to the world. So it is an industry that is important to this region, but we don't have to completely, throw it off the window.
And we don't have to turn a blind eye as well. As much as it is an important industry, it's very important to do it in a sustainable way so that it's friendly to people and also to the environment. Because at the end of the day, we are the ones who suffer.
That's true. Anyway, that's all from us today. Thanks for listening to the Durian Heat.
And of course, you can leave your feedback on our Facebook page, on Twitter, and also don't forget to follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel for all the daily podcasts.